Everybody, I am back from vacation, just got home a little while ago, and we can see a beautiful bullish weekly engulfing candle. I mean, this thing looks really good. Ever since we had this bullish hammer candle that back tested the bull market support band, I mean, look at this thing. That thing was huge. The following week we had, it wasn't so good, right? But at the end of the day, this candle had a job to do, and its job was to retest 50% at, between that 35 to 75% of this prior move, right? So we came all the way down, we back tested the bull market support band. That's exactly what we've been talking about since back over here, right? Back over here. So now we tested it one time. That's all we needed because the price was very bullish. We could still come down to test it again, but it's looking very unlikely. This candle right here, we're still at, we're on Wednesday. So we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We got 4 days left until this thing closes. So we really want to see it close beautiful, like how it is now. Hey, the higher we go, the better. Now, we're still not technically out of the woods yet, right? I mean, if we put the Fibonacci retracement, we broke the 50 line, which is very important. We broke the 50, and now we're on our way to the 618. So we have to get between 67.2 and really 71K, right? But, me saying we have a lot to work to do, but I really believe we will break it. I believe we will break it. Now, it could turn into, right, my previous videos, it can turn into something more bearish long term. Like, I'll give you an example, right, that we talked about. So this right here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and look what it did. It came all the way down, it shot up, it looked really bullish, but then it came back down to retest it, went sideways, then go, right? So if you look at where we're at now, that could be a situation, right, where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We come down just like over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we come down, and then look what happened here. We shot up, maybe we shoot up, and then we come back down, go sideways, then break out, right? So you just gotta understand and be aware that that could be a possibility. And we've talked about that as well. The other idea, right? I'm getting the bearish ideas out of the way. So by the way, I'm not bearish. I'm just getting them out of the way so we're all on track here. The other idea, right, is this is an A. We're coming up for B. We need a 618 or 702 retrace, and then we come down for C. And where would C go? C, right, this would be A, B, C, and we would back test this area over here. So between 44 and 53K, right? Let's see. Yeah, about the 50K area would be the ideal spot. So, and then it would be, right, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we would continue pumping to the upside. So those are the two bearish ideas, which really they're not bearish at all. They're actually extremely bullish. When I say bullish or bearish, there's differences, right? I could be talking about time, or I can be talking about price. So, at the end of the day, this looks very good, right? Why? Why does it look good? Well, because number one, we had 5 waves to the upside, right? We had 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, right? We had an A, B, C potentially. So this whole thing, right, is flagging out, right, which you would expect more upside. So that is bullish thing number 1. Bullish thing number 2, I mean, for goodness sakes, we're back at the all-time high. And we usually, if it's a strong rejection, right, you come back to the all-time high, and then bam, you quickly come back down, like a big topping tail, right? So a topping tail is like this right here, I'll show you an example. If we were completely bearish, right? So you see how the price came up and then it had a big topping tail, bam, it came down and then it dumped. So obviously that's didn't happen. I mean, obviously it can be more of a bigger distribution phase, but I don't think so. I think we're going to break out. So it's either, like I said, it's either going to come up, right? Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways breakout, or ABC breakout. Or now this is the time to zoom in. So now let's zoom in and look at that. Look at that. This is what we've been talking about for a very long time. It feels like since back in March when we had this big crash and the bearish divergence working here, been saying, look, chances are we're going to need a correction. There's a couple different ways a correction could occur, but it was actually the most basic correction, which is A, we come up for B, right? Or actually it would be a WXY because it looks like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So we had a WXY correction. And another reason why I believe it's bullish is because you can see this is an impulse right here. This is a big impulse, right? So the move that's going up is impulsing. The move that's coming down is choppy and corrective. That's how you know that this is a correction, a bullish correction, right? And then also, right, it's essentially a bull flag, right? I mean, you can see we are bull flagging out of here. And that, my friends, is a bullish correction. So just like how this was a ABC flat, this is just a regular ABC. And then also, been talking about, I don't want to keep repeating. Someone said, if I have to hear the bull market support band one more time, I'm going to blow my brains. You know what? I feel the same way. I don't want to say it anymore. I don't want to even think about the bull market support band. I want to get so far away from that damn thing that we don't even have to think about it anymore. But that's my job. I gotta keep emphasizing how important it is. And we got the test, right? We tested it officially. You can't see it because we're on the 2-day chart, but it is a weekly indicator. We did test it. So we have the WXY. We have an impulse off the bull market support band. We impulsed off, right? Now I'm going to zoom in further and look at this, right? We impulsed off and we had A, B, C. So I was saying, it doesn't look finished because I did not like the way this looked. This was not proportional with this wave. But when we look at something like total 3, right, it looked better. It looked a little bit better. It was more proportional. We had an A, a B, and a C. We came down and we took out the low, and it was, it looked like it had better symmetry. Then we had an impulse to the upside, right? A pullback, and now we're impulsing again. So you can say that you can argue that this is 5. I think it could be 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and now we have a 1, 2, and now it looks like we're going into the third wave. So I want to see this third wave at least challenge this top over here, have an ABC pullback, and then continue higher into the fifth wave. Then we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And hopefully that fifth wave gets us back into the retracement levels where then we can reevaluate. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Now, as far as the total 3 fractal goes, basically this price structure over here, it's still looking quite well. Let me overlay it here. Now, hopefully we don't have to wait that long, right, for this to get going. But let me zoom in here and we can start to see the definition, right? And we're actually breaking out a little bit early, but that's okay. So let me put this here. Actually, let me turn it down so we can kind of see the price behind the shadow. Okay, there we go. So you can kind of see it's still following very well. So we came down, right? So maybe we come back up. We have a big retracement. We get to the 618702, and then all of a sudden, bam, we get rejected. Everybody thinks, oh no, right? It was just a 618 retrace, right? So this is a 1-2, and now we're going down, 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 right? But in reality, it was just setting up for this other move here. So it was like a 1-2, 1-2, right? And then you can see right here how we have this bullish thing. Reminds me a lot of what Theta did, or Theta Fuel, where what we're in now, where you pop up to the upside and you kind of flag out here, right? It looks like a bear flag, but it's actually a bullish lead-in to the upside. So the fractal is still in play. Okay, so let's take everything off there. So the daily chart, we have a bullish engulfing candle on the altcoins, right? The altcoin market has a bullish engulfing candle, which is really, really good, which we want to see. Let's take a look at some trend lines here. If I draw a trend line, look at that. We broke the thing. We broke the trend line, which is very good. So I'll put this right here, and that's what I'm talking about, right? Here's your demand line, right? Right? People demanding crypto. And then here's your supply line, people distributing their supply to the market. So when the demand line and the supply line meet, you get an explosion most of the time, either to the downside or to the upside. In this case, right, I mean, obviously it could be a fake out, right? You can always have to understand that. The way you know it's not a fake out is, number one, if we get 5 waves, and number two, if we can get through the retracement level. So let me put it right there. So we already got through the 618. So all we need to do, right? And I don't think it's going to be a fake out, because this candle is pretty powerful here. I mean, when we zoom into the smaller time frames, we'll talk about it. I mean, there is some bearish things about it, but you know, when you zoom out, it looks a lot better. But when you zoom in, it kind of looks like a flat. We'll talk about it. But the big goal for the altcoins is to get above this right here. So $661 billion, and we're right now pretty close. So let me get rid of that here. So if we can, basically the big goal for the altcoins is to break above this, right? Come back down and back test it. That way we can confirm it, right? This is resistance in here. We break out, we back test it, we confirm the resistance, or we confirm the previous resistance as the new support, right? Then it proves itself that it's worthy enough to go back up, right? So that's what we want to see. So that's the goal. I'm not saying that's going to happen today, tomorrow, or even next week. It could take time, but I think it should take probably within a week. We should hopefully get a breakout. I mean, who knows? Maybe it happens tomorrow, right? Usually it seems like, you know, the past, I would say actually really all year, Thursday, you know, Wednesdays and Thursdays has been definitely the most volatile days. And a lot of the Thursdays I remember, you know, are pretty pumpy days. So we'll see how that works. But yeah, once we get through here, then our next job is to get above, look at that, right at the 702. So my line hit it perfectly. That's always good. So really getting above here is our next job once we break this, right? So yeah, it's looking good. Now the bearish idea, right, was to suggest that this either was some type of triangle, right? So we have A, B, C, D, and now we're in E, and then we come down and we back test this area. So a lot of times triangles occur in fourth waves. So this would, if that's the case, then this would be 1, 2, 3, and then we have a triangle for wave 4, and then we come down for wave 5. We back test in here, and then we continue higher, right? And then we would have this nice sort of bull flag type of thing before we break out, and we would also back test in here. So that could still happen. It's exciting, right? We got a big candle, but we need follow through, right? Because a lot of times, the crypto market, it will pump, and it will pump hard, but if it's actually bearish, people will short the hell out of it, right? They'll short it. So people will buy into it and say, oh, look, we're going higher. We get back to resistance, they short it, and then it comes back down. So just be aware that that still could happen. Nothing is proven until it actually breaks, number one, this line here, and then number two, between these two lines here, right? So we're still technically in the range, but when you look at the price structure from the bottom, it looks actually good. I mean, to me, this looks like, let's zoom in a little bit. Look at that. Look at that. Let me put the line here. And you can see we broke out of that thing, right? And we can have a line here. So we came up, and now we're flagging out, right? So I guess you can say, you can put it right there, and the measured move would be right about here. So that's exactly where we need to be, right? So yeah, it's looking quite well. Now, what else I really like about it is it's starting to form an inverse head and shoulders. So, it's not pretty, but it is what it is. I wish I had a little bit of price structure here, but to sort of confirm that neckline here. But if you would just kind of eyeball it, you can kind of see here. So we have a shoulder, we have a head, and then we have another shoulder. So here's our resistance line. So we're cupping into the resistance, cupping into the resistance, cupping into the we're weakening it, we're pushing through, and then eventually we can break out. So if I put a line here, the measured move approximately, well, look at that. It gets us right back, I think, above the 702. Let's see. Yep, it actually gets us above the 786. So the measured move of this potential inverse head and shoulders, right, gets us actually above the 786, which means if we can get there, then we're pretty solid on getting a 1618 extension, which means the altcoins would break out. That's what that means, right? So looking very nice so far. You remember, if this is a fourth wave, right? Fourth wave corrections are always very challenging. So, if this is wave 4, right, which we basically 1, 2, and then this is 3, and now we're in a wave 4, a lot of times they're complex and they're challenging. And a lot of fake outs happened, so you just kind of have to be patient and wait and see what happens. And allow the developments to come, right? But ultimately, it more than likely will eventually break out, right? Regardless if it has to ABC down and backtest down here, regardless if it's done now, which would be great, right? Or basically if we had a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, then we went sideways, then we broke out. Whatever the case may be, the price structure can get more complex as it goes along, right? So it'll start off looking like a pullback, then it'll look like an ABC, then it might look like like a triangle, right? Then it might be, it can turn into different things, right? So but so far it looks really good, and the most important thing, right, is establishing is number one, having the ABC pullback. Number two, backtesting the bull market support band. Number three, retesting the bull market support band. Number four, developing a base on top of the bull market support band. And number five, getting through the retracement levels, right? So if this is a 1 2 1 2, we could be really bullish, right? So it could happen rather quick. What I really like about this is how it's consolidating. You can see, for example, if I go like, let me actually zoom in a little bit here to the 12-hour. You can see, look at that 12-hour massive candle. You can see how we're consolidating down, right? We're going downwards. So anytime that occurs, that's pretty bullish, right? So if I were to, if we were consolidating upwards, right, and we have a price and we consolidated upwards, it would look like we would have to come down. So the opposite is true with this, right? So we have the breakout. Now let's see, we have 4 hours until the close. Let's get the close. So we want a nice strong daily engulfing close. So let's look at the daily chart. Look at this. When I zoom in, we're actually breaking above the previous close here. So I'll put the line right there. You can start to see it. Look at that. It's moving a lot right now. So let's see if we can get the job done. I think it came up pretty fast. I wouldn't buy into this candle. I would wait for a pullback. You gotta be patient. I unfortunately didn't get so much on the bottom. Like I said, I was on vacation. I didn't really have a lot of time to look and fill orders, but I managed to get a little bit through here. So we'll see how it plays, but I think this is awfully fast. So now let's zoom in even further and we'll talk about it. Okay. So let's actually go back to Bitcoin. Let's zoom out here. And right off the bat, look at Bitcoin here. It is fully broken out above this inverse head and shoulders. So let me see if I can get it right on the dot here. There we go. So that is a beautiful inverse head and shoulders, and we completely broke out, right? So the measured move of this inverse head and shoulders ballpark, right, is actually right at the all-time high, like literally right on the dot of the all-time high. So if we get to that measured move, statistically speaking, if we get back to the all-time high, right, to the very tip, then that means we cleared through the retracement levels, then the probabilities drastically increase for a mega breakout. So just be aware of that. So far, we only have 3 waves, right? I would like to see this. So we have 1, 2, and now we're in the process of 3. So I would like to see the 3rd wave get back up here. Then the 4th wave, right? Then the 5th wave. So if I were to, right, and then you'll have, of course, subwaves in between, right? So not the not so zoomed in on the subwaves, but more so like on the 1 hour chart. Let's see, or better yet, let's see the 30-minute. So that thing went up pretty nicely. Now, I don't really like the shape in here all too much, right? I really feel like this should pull back down to here, right? I would actually welcome that. If we can get a pullback back down in here, it would make more sense to me, right? Because then, we could have. It looked like a bunch of 1 2s, 1 2 1 2 1 2. I mean, this at the time, right, when we broke down, this looked like a bear flag, and I even stated, I go, this looks like it needs to come down and finish, but obviously it didn't happen. But I also said we can actually come up here and have a retracement of this wave, then come down and finish. And that's exactly what happened, but when we came back down, we actually made a higher low, which means this whole thing was part of a three-way move. So 1, 2, 3, right? So now, zooming out a little bit, if this is a flat, right? If this is a flat right in here, so boom, boom, boom. If that's a flat, then we could probably see 5 waves, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get 5. It would be an expanded flat, right? And then we get in up here a little bit more and then come down. That's what that would mean, right? If this is an expanded flat. I don't think it is. I don't really like the way it's shaped. So for now, I'm sticking with this right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is either, you can say, a C leg or even a diagonal, which means if it's a diagonal, then this is a three-way pullback. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is wave 1. Then we have an ABC, which is wave 2, and now we're going to come down. So those are the two bearish ideas on the smaller time frames, right? So if this is an impulse, right, in the form of a diag down, and this is a three-way pullback, then we can see more down. So I'm letting you know so you can be aware of that, right? We don't want to get trapped. We don't, because if this is going to turn into a larger B wave, right? So if this is 1 or ABC, right, which is wave A, and then we come up for wave B, which is wave B, right? 1, 2, 3, and then we come down for wave C, right? It can get more complex. So I'm just saying, like, in regards to the trap, B waves are notorious for traps. So the big question I have, B waves are the waves that have to get through the retracement levels. A lot of times they get rejected, right? A lot of times they get through. A lot of times they're fake outs, right? The B wave is the fake out wave. So is this going to turn into a retracement? Basically fake everybody out, come down? Or is this going to come and get through the retracement, we can break out? Well, we have to wait and see. We have to develop more price action. And we have to start looking at the shape. The way it looks now, it's like I said, it's very hard to tell. If I had to guess, I wouldn't, if it was bearish, I wouldn't expect us to come down completely. I would expect more of a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout, which means our portfolios are still going to hold up nicely, right? They're not going to have big red candles, right? We're going to hold up nicely. But what this does is it takes time out of the market, right? Because the bull run from the bottom to the top of where we are now happened so much faster than the last 2 bull runs, which means we are way ahead of schedule, which also could potentially mean we need to make up some time, or we need to kill some time, right? So if we need to kill some time as far as the cycle goes, then what better way to do it than a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation? And then also that structure allows everybody to accumulate. It allows the oscillators to cool off, and it also allows for a base to be formed, right? A nice size base to be formed, so that when we do venture off, right? This is like back in the Viking days, right? We are building our ship, right? We have to make sure our ship is strong before we set sail, right? So, the longer we spend building it, right, the bigger the ship, the bigger the foundation. So then when we finally go into uncharted waters, right, this is uncharted waters, then at that moment, we have more confidence that we're going to get further to where we need to go, right, because we would have developed a nice sized base. But if we hurry up and rush and put things together quickly, we might not get so high, right? So that's kind of a interesting analogy, right? But it's true. So that's kind of where we are with Bitcoin and the altcoin market cap. Um, so just a quickly some miscellaneous ideas. Let me just show a couple of those real quick. So one of the ideas, right, is following that total altcoin market fractal. So here's the bull market support band. So basically we come up here and then we come down for 3, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So we have a WXY in the middle, right? So, or at the end. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So basically just a series of 3 waves, right? You go 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down, right? So, and then if we have, so then the whole thing together, right? The whole thing together would be 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, and then once this is finished, right? This is just a miscellaneous idea. Then we can get 5. 1, 2, right? 3, 4, 5. So that's I actually really like that idea because it gets us back down to the bull market support band. It also takes time out of the market. It also allows for some sideways reaccumulation in here, like the previous idea I just mentioned. But yeah, I think that's one idea for us. The other idea, the mega bull idea, is to say that this is one. Actually, let me do it like this. This is 1, 2, and now we're in the middle of the third wave. So that's kind of the bullish idea. So when I zoom out, I mean, you can see that'll get us up to 100K. And when I mean bullish, I mean as far as time goes. Like we're ready to go now. I'm not comfortable saying either way because I still want some more proof. But I really, really, really like the number 1, the test of the bull market support band. But number 2, the inverse head and shoulders. And number 3, look at this. We have a base, right? We developed a base, and then look at this. You can see the fake out right here, right? We came down and we quickly came back in the base, right? So let me just show you this. Let me flip it upside down. When I flip it upside down, doesn't that look bearish? Look at that. I flipped it upside down. That looks like, to me, like some kind of rising wedge. And now we just broke the trend line to the downside. And it also looks like a head and shoulders here, right? Doesn't that look like a head and shoulders? Doesn't it look like it needs to come down? So when I flip it back up, right side up, look at that. It looks like we need to go back up. So that's kind of where we're at. So now let's talk about what we really want to talk about, which is the altcoins. So let's see, which one's first? I'll just start with XRP first. Okay, so XRP actually looks really good because number 1, right, we have a 1, 2, and then we have another 1, 2. I mean, that looks really good. And then on the bottom of the 1, 2, 1, 2, we also have a base that formed in here. I don't know why I did not pay more attention. I would have had some fun trading in here. So now I kind of got to wait a little bit and just, as far as hodling, investing, the best time to buy is yesterday, right? The best time to buy is now. The best time to buy is tomorrow. The best time to buy is next week. The best time to buy is when you're able, right? Is dollar cost averaging, buying and investing. The best time, if you're wanting to trade, I don't care that the price went up, right? If I'm trading the market, I don't care that the price broke out, right? Because a lot of people will FOMO and they'll buy in. So, as a trader, it doesn't matter if the price breaks out. You actually would like it, right? Because if we break out here, then you want to see an ABC pullback. Buy the 3-wave pullback, and then you can long it, or vice versa, right? Or you can short it, whatever. But yeah, back to the chart. What I like to see here is this candle right here. You can see this candle. This was a bullish hammer candle, right? And we had a beautiful tail at the end, and it came down to these local bottoms here. And you can see what happens. Every time we get down here, we get bought back up. We come back down, we get bought back up. So look at what happened this time. We came down and we got bought back up fast. But look at this. We developed it was a quick reaction. This time when we came back down, look at this. We developed an actual base, which means what? Which means this run-up is going to be a lot stronger than this run-up, because the common question would be, okay, look at this. Here's our resistance right here, and then you drag it across, we have more resistance. Okay, so we hit the resistance, hit the resistance. So then the common assertment would be, okay, all we're going to do is come up and hit the resistance again. But now we have a better chance at breaking this resistance, because when we came up here, we hit it, right? But look, we didn't develop any base. We basically just reversed into it. This time we came down, we developed a base, and now we're breaking out, which means this move compared to this move is going to be a lot stronger, in my opinion, right? Or not, statistically speaking, it should be stronger, which means we have a better chance now at breaking out. So if this wave got all the way up here with no base, what do you think this wave is going to do? I think it could break out, right? I think it has a good chance at breaking out. So it also looks like it's developing a horizontal resistance and a rising trend. And what do we call that? An ascending channel, a triangle. So we're rising up, and we got a horizontal resistance with a rising trend line. So it looks like we're coiling in for a breakout, something like that. So if I'm an investor, right, or a hodler, accumulating some now, maybe not right this second, but, wait for a little pullback, and then maybe a little bit over here. Same thing as a trader, right? So you're buying the trend. So here's your trend line. You're buying the trend. You're buying the trend. You're buying the trend. And that's, what I've been doing. I didn't get to do it this week, but not so much. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for the price of XRP. So zooming out real quick, just to recap the whole time frame, right? To me, a lot of people can't read the chart, right? A lot of people, I see a lot of Elliott Wave guys and a lot of people on YouTube, not so much the XRP community, but just various, right? They can't get a read on the chart. For me, it's pretty simple. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have an A, and then we have a B, and now this is a C. Unless, of course, this is a WXY, which I think would be better, right? Because if it's a C lay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we still need 5, right? Because we need 5 waves in C. We only have 3, which means hopefully it's a WXY. 1, 2, 3, right? And now this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and now we're ready to go. But if this is an ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, we still need 5, right? So again, there's still potential for downside. The biggest goal for XRP is to get back above the bull market support band. You can see, right, a lot of the altcoins held above it. The bull market support band is going down. The price is consolidating in here. So we really need to break out, come back down, back test it, and then go to the moon. That's really what we should do, because XRP has had plenty of time for reaccumulation, more than most coins, right? Most coins are above the bull market support band. That's because they've been trending. XRP has not been trending. It has not been in a bull run in over 6 years. It has been going sideways in accumulation, right? So we have one base, we break out. We have another base, right? We're building another base on top of this base, right? So we're basically going sideways. So we're at the bottom of the base. We're at the bottom of the second base, right? So it's looking really good for more upside. Maybe we come down for that fifth wave, but the way Bitcoin's looking right now, I don't think so. And if you look at the current 2-day chart, we have a bullish engulfing chart. So if it is going to break down, it ain't going to break down anytime soon, I'll tell you that. Now let's look at the really small time. Let's look at even closer here. So I was looking at this the other day, saying it looks kind of like a flat, right? So A, B, C, right? And it was, it looked like it. And then he comes down. We have 3 waves, right? So, but it came down correctively. It didn't come down, because if this was a real flat, it would have came down impulsively and finished out. But it came down correctively in 3 waves. So, I really liked this correction better, right? Because we had a pretty clear, it didn't have that weird wave in the middle like Bitcoin did. A, B, C. We have a 3-wave move, right? Big impulse. We broke the top. We had a 3-way pullback, and now look at this. We have a 1, 2, 1, 2, boom, big breakout, right? So let's turn on the sequential. I'm sure we've already passed the 9. Let's see here. We're getting close to a 9. But yeah, we still have a lot of work to do with XRP because of the retracement levels and things like that. But once momentum takes over, it can happen very, very fast. So let's look at the retracement level. I haven't done a video. I can't remember the last time I did a video. I know it wasn't. I think it's been like 3 days at least, 3 or 4 days. So I'm trying to talk as fast as I can, get the information out. Things like that. So we're barely at the 382, right? We're barely at the 382. I really want to see us get right back up here. So we have the bull market support band going down. We also have the Fibonacci retracement levels. So I still see more upside. I see a lot more upside. Maybe not this minute, not this second. Maybe we pull back a little bit. What I would like to see, I'll make it real simple for us. Put that right there, and then I'll put this right there. What I would like to see is a 1, 2, 1, 2. That would be very badass, and then come all the way up. So we have a 1 ABC, and then we have a 1, and then I would love to see another ABC. Why? Because then I could buy the back test. We would back test this area right here. Very important area. Right at 50, basically 50 cents. So right now we're almost at 52 cents, right? Or basically 51 cents. So it's about a 2-cent difference. We come back, we have an ABC. That would be a nice buying opportunity. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a mega third wave. And hopefully that third wave slices right through that resistance like it's butter. So yeah, it's looking really good. So let me just zoom all the way out so we can understand. So my whole thesis with XRP has been quite simple. Basically, you just look right over here, right? We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. The same exact thing is happening now. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. What comes next? The blast off. We've been waiting for a long time. We've been waiting for a couple years in this reaccumulation stage. Remember, the lawsuit is coming soon too, right? So if you're a Theta listener, I'm going to get to Theta as soon as I can. But remember, an XRP lawsuit will do Theta very big justice. So essentially, we're in this reaccumulation range, and we're waiting to break out, and I think that could happen very, very soon. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Another thing I want to see is a break above the downward resistance line. So right in here. I guess it still could be a triangle, right, where you have A, and then B, C, D, E. Right? I don't really like it too much because E went a little bit too far. unless you just bring the B, let's see, A, and then this whole thing is B, C, D, E. Yeah, I don't really like it too much, but hey, if we coil in here, right, you have the demand line, the supply line, we coil up in here, and then we have a big blast off moment. I like that. What I really, really like about it is you can see we are developing a base on the demand line. So here's your demand line. We're increasing, and we're developing a base, a foundation of support on the demand line. So that means we're gearing up for a big breakout, or at least a pump to the upside. Now, when we meet up with the resistance line, I think we have a very good chance at, put it this way, if Bitcoin breaks out, there's no question in my mind, I believe XRP will break above this channel. So that's the way I see it. And by the way, I said back, I believe it was in February, March, that, we broke this range here. And I basically made just for fun, a prediction saying that we could potentially break this range between April or May. Well, I still got time. I mean, May is halfway through. We're at May 15th. So I have 2 weeks to go, right? I have 2 weeks to go. Let's see if it'll play out, right? So basically the bet is, or it's not a bet, but the prediction is, right, is that we break above this range within 2 weeks. I don't really see it happening, but hey, anything's possible. We'll see. Just real quick on the 15-minute chart, we are oversold. We're starting to develop a little bit of bearish divergence. You can see we're going up and this is coming down. It doesn't really mean too much, but I mean, this thing can be getting ready to go, right? So just be cautious of that. We do have that inverse head and shoulders. Look, we have a shoulder, we have a big head, and we have a shoulder. Let's look at the measured move here. And let me take that and I'll put it right about there. So the measured move is approximately 53 cents. So, and that gets us closer to the retracement level. Okay, here we go. Theta, look at this. This looks really, really good. We have the downward resistance line right here. So we got to keep an eye on that, right? I would actually put it right there. We get more touches. And then we have this line here. It doesn't look too strong. Let me actually do this. There we go. So that's kind of where we're at. Once we coil in here, it's going to make a decision. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down. To me, it looks like it's going to break to the upside. I've been leaning that way for a while. So just real quick, we had a big pump to the upside. We had an A, B, and a C. We hit the bull market support band. We developed the base. We came all the way up. We got rejected by the resistance. That's normal. We came all the way back down, and we had a higher low, and we back tested the bull market support band. We came back up, and we retraced this move. Then we came all the way back down again, made another higher low on the bull market support band. So that's still really good. And basically, we had a double bottom here, right? We came down A, B, C on the bull market support band, and then we had a 1-2, and now it looks like we're starting to make our way through the retracement levels, which is approximately basically the goal for Theta and the short term, right, within the next week or so, is to get above $2.20 to $2.30. So between 220 and 230, that's the big area, right? So that's the big area. So just real quick, let me just get this out of the way. The bearish thing I see here is that this is kind of looks like a flat. So because, I want to say it's 1-2, but to me it looks like 1-2-3. And then we have 1-2-3. So we have a 3-3, and it looks like we're in a 5 now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like an expanded flat. So we have an A, B, C, which basically means we would have to come back down. That's what that means, right? So I'm hoping that this is not a fourth wave, right? I'm hoping that this is a three-wave pullback. So, because back over here we had 5 waves. I'm hoping this is only 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we have a flat here for wave 4, which means maybe we come down for wave 5, right? There's the possibility. That's the only thing I see that's a problem, right? And if we did that, then we're most likely, right, looking at much more downside. As long as we don't break, this low here, it could just be a liquidity grab, right? Maybe we come down real fast for a liquidity grab and get it taken care of. Or this could be part of a bigger three-way move like this. So we have an A, B, and now we're getting C, and we're almost there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We come down, we hit the low, maybe take out this liquidity here. Everybody's got their stop loss here. We come down, we take it out, we grab that liquidity, then bam, we go up very, very high. It's a fake out, right? If that's the case. So I'm looking at this potentially a wave 4, or, we'll know probably within the next day or two if that's the case, and I will update as soon as we get there. We are running into a little bit of resistance in here. So let's see, I would imagine that's around the 50% line, or almost. Yeah, we're almost getting to that 50%. So yeah, I'd like to see it get a little bit higher. On the very small time frame, it kind of looks like it needs a pullback here. Let's see. Kind of looks like a 1 2 1 2 1 2, right? It kind of looks like it's developing that, and then we have this big impulse. This right here was a running flat. You can see here A, B, C has a running flat, and now we're continuing to, look at that, we're still pumping here, guys. We're still pumping. So if this is going to turn into something bigger, then let's go, right? We have a lot of open space in here. Remember, I tweeted out we had this bearish divergence, or this bullish divergence here, and I basically had a line here, right? I think it was on the higher time frame. I'm not going to spend too much time, but basically there was bullish divergence right in here, and I basically said, hey, look, this could have a good shot at playing out. So what basically happened was we came down, we hit the low, and then we started to develop a base right in here. So I like that. I like that a lot. And look where we came down to. We came down right at the bottom. Look how powerful the bull market support band is. We came right down to it. So here's the bottom of the line right here. We came right there. We hit it, we hit it, we hit it, we hit it again. So, to me, that's pretty powerful. And now look what happened after we hit it a bunch of times. We hit it, and then bam, we shot up to the moon. That means you guys have been watching my videos, and you guys have been buying the bull market support band. That's what that means. So, looking nice. Bitcoin and XRP look a little better, and Total 3. I just don't really like the shape of this flat, but hey, if Bitcoin goes, which it looks like it is, then there's no problem for XR or for Theta to go as well. So let's talk about little miscellaneous counts. This could still be some type of triangle, right? So it could be an A, B, C, D, and now we're coming up for E, right? And then we come down for that fifth wave. So this could be some type of triangle in here, right? And we talked about that as well. So let me zoom out a little bit. So like I said, the triangles like to occur on the fourth wave. If this is a triangle, we have a 1, 2, 3, wave 4 triangle, come down for wave 5, right? And then we basically come down and we back test, $1.40 area, right? Somewhere around $1.50, $1.40. Maybe a little more than that. Maybe $1.60, right? Who knows? and then we form a base, and then we break out. So that's kind of what we're looking at. I really don't want to break down here, because then it has the opportunity to turn into a diagonal, which could turn into a three-way pullback with even more downside, right? So we don't want that. We want this to be a three-way pullback, a back test of the bull market support band. Look here. So right here is basically right in here, how we were accumulating before the run up. So hopefully we get the breakout. I really like the weekly candle, right? We have a nice, this red candle here came down to the bull market support band. We coming right back up. I mean, another different way you can say the triangle started here, A, B, C, D, and then we get E, and then we go. So some type of triangle right in here, right, where we get 3, and then go. That would explain the three-wave shape. So, I mean, the big goal for theta on the bigger time frames, right, is to get above $3 and $3.50. And if we can break above that, I have no doubt in my mind we can get to $5 plus. We can be looking down the barrel of a $5 plus theta. And I really believe that. So, but we have to break above these retracement levels. And so far, we're developing a nice base down here for us to do that. So, just taking baby steps in here. Once we crack this, then we can start to accelerate a lot faster, and we can definitely get up here. And then even be looking at a full 4.236 extension for theta sitting at $10. So how does a $10 theta sound? I think a $10 theta is inevitable. I think it's coming. Remember, this is not financial advice. Nothing I say is financial advice. Just understand that. So real quick, before I forget, how could you forget? Theta Fuel. Look at Theta Fuel. It didn't even flinch. I mean, this thing is beautiful. This thing has an A, a B, and a C. This is a massive running flat. And then we have this impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have a beautiful A, B, C pullback. This thing looks like it wants to just fly because of the way it looks. I've shared many fractals. I don't have time to show those, but I've shared them with Bitcoin. Just go back and watch the previous videos, basically talking about how this, comes down, develops a base, it comes up, right? And then it's different. Theta Fuel is so much different looking than a lot of these other charts, because a lot of these other charts are down by the bull market support band, below their bull market support band, or have a regular ABC down. This is continuing to go up, higher highs, higher lows. So this looks like a lead-in for a much bigger move, and that we haven't seen yet. So, I mean, this thing looks like it's barely getting started, if it's still going to hold true, right? So, we still need Bitcoin to show up to the party, but this looks like a beautiful running flat. This whole thing was a Wyckoff accumulation range, accumulating. We break out, backtest. We're just backtesting the hell out of it, just like the Wyckoff accumulation fractal we've shared. Then the big breakout, get back to the big time frame retracement levels, and then that's where the fun starts. All while we have DXY, right, is dumping. This is exactly what we wanted. We wanted the DXY to dump. Look what happened. We had a beautiful dump, a three-way pullback, and now we're starting to come back down. So hopefully this thing dumps like nobody's business. Real quick, Theta versus BTC. Look at this. We have this move up, an ABC, and now we're starting to get a candle here. Let's see if we can get through. Looking good. Kind of caught some support here on these green dots on the daily chart. We came up at a 9. We lost the bull market support band, but it still has a nice three-wave shape. I want to see it get back up here. Please like this video. It really helps out. Give it a like. Give it a thumbs up. And drop a comment. Please drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah. And if you want to support the channel, you can always do so through the YouTube tip jar. So here's my tweet here. I got to see a bunch of cool animals. We just got back from the zoo, so my son had a good time. He got to see a bunch of animals. It was a nice time. All right, guys. I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.